What's up? Cool. So, my first episode in spring. So awesome. Yeah, you'll see if you guys are watching on YouTube. It's a lot brighter than usual. I've had to turn on the studio lights here. It's actually it's beautiful outside. It's overcast. It's dark. It's thundering. It's raining. Some well-needed moisture. Yeah, we've been through definitely one of the coldest winters I can remember since I was in school, and it's great. We've had a bit of moisture on the ground, and yeah, this rain afterwards is beautiful. The trees are blossoming, the flowers are out. It really just gets you in a good mood, and yeah, just so stoked that everything's happening. Well, guys, yeah, welcome to another episode of the podcast, our Sunday discussion. Yeah, so this Sunday's discussion is going to be a little bit light. It's going to be mild. I've got some big news to share with you guys. Unfortunately, I won't be able to do it this time, but I will. As it progresses, I'll share a little bit more with you guys through social media and all my other platforms. I hope you guys can hear the thunder in the background. But yeah. So guys, just to get into things quickly, first you got to give a big shout out to Trees and Camo. In this particular season, I would love to try out my early season gear. It's got a nice little green tinge in it. So it will definitely fit into this sort of environment, spring, autumn, that sort of thing. Yeah, our hunting season's officially closed, but there are certain parts and certain species you can still hunt. So, yeah, hoping to whip out the bow. I've had some pretty cool success over the last couple of weeks. So, yeah, Trees and Camo. Again, I don't know how I'm ever going to convince you guys on what a great camo these are, and to withstand our bushveld, it takes a lot. So big shout out to Trees and Camo. Next up will be Tacticam. Big shout out to Tacticam. I'm hoping that my stabilizer contraption arrives soon, so I can put my camera on there and we can test it out. I'm so pumped up about these guys. 4K, slow-mo, they've got the works. As far as action camera is concerned for hunting, they definitely tick all the boxes. So big shout out to Tacticam. Then next up, big shout out to Maxxis Tires. Yes, these guys have backed me from the start, and again, I've been using the Maxxis Razor, the mining application, in all sorts of conditions, and probably tomorrow morning when I go out, I'm going to take Pepper out for a little stroll on the farm just to get her scent going again. I'll be testing them out in the mud, so a big shout out to Maxxis Tires. Then guys, also, yeah, just a very big shout out to Splending Image Taxidermy. If there's a taxidermy that you guys need to use when you come out on your safari, it's definitely got to be Splending Image. The workmanship is unbelievable. The attention to detail is next level. And yeah, I'm just so stoked to be a part of and seeing how well they've developed over the years. And yeah, guys, again, I just can't stress that communication is so important when you are mounting your trophies and bringing them back home and stuff, and they do it so professionally. And they're really an awesome company to work with, and I highly recommend them. Then jumping in, next up on the list will be Banana Skins. Yeah, like I said in a couple of my earlier podcasts, I've been using them through my rugby playing days and now in the veld. They're really cool. Yeah, when I'm gymming now and my off-season training, trying to get fit again for next season, I'll be using them flat out on the road, in the gym, all over the show, and just making sure that they've got me covered. Yeah, guys, and then obviously my very own e-commerce store. I'm so proud to be associated with this whole setup, and it's some exciting news. I'm going to tell you guys a little bit more about it a little bit later, because I think there's some really nice, exciting things that are going to come from this. But yeah, big shout out to PH Toolbox. Like I said, we launched a couple of weeks ago, and I'm just stoked to be out there. It's really exciting for me, and some of the benefits and programs and stuff we've got in place for my fellow PHs definitely is something to admire and something to so awesome to be a part of. So yeah, big shout out to PH Toolbox. Then guys, yeah, just a big thank you once again to my mom, my brother, my wife, and my beautiful daughter. Just they never stop believing in me and pushing me to this point, and I'm so proud to be 2,000 followers on Instagram. So we're growing, and it really is nice just to see the raw, progression that we've got. And yeah, I'm doing this not for any other gain other than just the love of our magnificent wildlife and conservation, and why hunting is our best conservation tool. But guys, without further ado, our Sunday discussion. Let's get into it. Guys, so yeah, these Sunday discussions are going to become a little bit difficult now that hunting season's over, but I would love to hear from you guys what sort of topics you want to find out a little bit more about South Africa, our hunting industry, etc. And actually this Sunday discussions based off one of those questions, pretty cool, was sent through to me on Facebook, and just so stoked that I'm getting my message out there, and a lot of guys are referring back to me in the way that where it comes to help and so on and so forth. So pretty cool and pretty interesting discussion. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. So some big news coming out of the southern part of South Africa, and especially Namibia, is that on the 1st of September, they actually opened their borders to international travel. What this means for the rest of us is that hopefully we start following suit. What's confusing for me is that the protocols in place, I understand them, and I believe that they need to be there, but it's a mission. You got to understand, as far as coming over to South Africa for a hunting excursion or safari, whatever it may be, you sort of pressed into a position where, I'm going to say uncomfortable, but I don't know if that's the right word. But I feel like there's a lot more effort that goes into planning a safari, especially a hunting or photographic safari, than it does just packing your bags, jumping in an airplane, popping over to the next country and exploring. There's a lot more planning involved, especially if you're hunting. You've got to plan with all your rifles, binoculars, and all that, as well as photographic cameras, binoculars, books, all that sort of stuff. So, and now to throw in the mix, you've got to have COVID tests. You've got to plan that once you land at your airport, you're not allowed to spend. You have to go straight to your overnight destination. You're not allowed to mingle around. There's a lot of criteria. So, yeah, it's a big step, especially coming from Namibia. To be honest with you, I would have thought it would have been one of the other countries that would have taken the leap. But I'm glad it's done now. We're starting to move forward in a very positive way. But like I say, the hassle is still going to be there. For how long, I don't know. For me, I just feel that, making sure that you've got a negative COVID test 7 days before you fly out and all that sort of stuff, it just adds to this whole rigmarole of unnecessary stuff, guys, COVID for me is a sensitive topic. I don't really want to get too much into it because, what I believe, what I've seen, and what I think is happening out there, everyone's going to have their different opinions about it. But yeah, so definitely a step in the right direction as far as Namibia is concerned. So they opened their borders on the 1st, and definitely a leap in the right direction. Look, I don't think, especially South Africa, I don't think our tourist industry can take too much more. I've had a lot of discussions, and I actually met with we were just actually sitting around at a restaurant, and I met with one of the Eastern Cape tourism and travel people that were quite heavily involved in our airport infrastructure and where we stand as far as getting ready for accepting tourists and stuff. And I think, don't quote me on this, but I think we're almost there. We're almost ready to do the whole thing and start accepting tourist guests. Look, I don't know if, again, I'm going to say it, I don't know if our tourist industry can take too much more of what's actually happening. It's frustrating for all of us. I mean, I'm constantly seeing on the news with the wine industry taking a knock and various other aspects. And yes, it's a sad situation, and I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, but I wish this thing was over as soon as possible. It's starting to get in the way now, and it's starting to become a real nuisance. And I don't know. It's such a weird situation to be in, because there's a part of me that's saying that, how much of the shit is actually true and how much of it isn't. I understand it's a sensitive thing because there's lots of people that have lost loved ones. But on the other hand, there's a lot of people that are suffering now because they've lost jobs. And yeah, anyway, on a positive note, it's raining outside. No, just jokes. Excuse me. So great leave from Namibia. I'm super stoked for them, especially the Professional Hunters Association. I really think that they need it, and hopefully we can start getting bookings sooner rather than later. It's a tricky time of the year as well to start accepting hunters in, but we've got to take what we can get. At the end of the day, we've got to look at this from a business point of view and as well as a wildlife conservation point of view. We need to keep our animals around, and we need to start controlling herds and stuff like I spoke about last week. So yeah, thumbs up to Namibia, guys. And then as far as the South African point of view goes, it's quite tricky, especially now with SAA. There's a lot of uncertainty around the airline. So and what does this mean for the hunting industry is rifles. I'll have to do a little bit more research, but I'm not quite sure which airlines will be compensating rifles and bringing rifles over. I know SAA was one of them, and with the uncertainty and the shadows surrounding them at this point, just make sure you do your full research before booking your next safari. Does your outfitter supply you with rifles? And it's a big one. It really is a big one. So okay, guys, cool. So moving on, I said to you a little bit earlier in the introduction that I would like to introduce you guys a little bit about PH Toolbox. Cool. So my story behind PH Toolbox was, a lot of you guys don't know, but I joined the family business. My mom's got an extremely successful tire industry business here in Queenstown, and it's been part of our family for some time now. It was actually started by my mom and my dad about 32 years ago. So I joined them and decided that hunting and conservation was my passion. And my family's always believed in follow your passion and follow your dreams and just, do what you want to do. And unfortunately, being in the family business wasn't it. And then COVID hit. So I had to do a quick reverse and go back to the business. But there was a part of me that was still stuck between this weird combination, whether I should, pursue what I want to do, or should I stick it out in the family business and have a secure income, and I've just got a family now, so I had to keep all these possibilities in place. And I couldn't be selfish anymore. I had to think of my family, think of our future, and what this meant. But I couldn't help but think about my fellow PHs, especially the ones out there that did this full time. And I designed this PH Toolbox program that sold what I use in the bush. And my idea around it was to have a sporting goods store, so like a safari shop, where us as PHs would get together once a month or once a quarter, whatever the case may be, sit down and highlight a couple of the important tools that we use in the bush when we're hunting. And the program was in order going to be developed around that. We would find suppliers for these essential items that we use, like torches, knives, etc. And then put them on our platform to sell. And any PH that joined the program, if they recommended a link to the website, and the potential client would click on that link and bought something through there, they would earn commission. Therefore, fill in some of the gaps when the hunting season's over, or when a pandemic hits. So, I wasn't the sole brainchild. There was a couple of my mates, and, I bounced this idea off a few good resources in town and around and in our industry and stuff. And one of the concerning factors was, did we have a place in the market? Because there's so many outdoor shops out there. There's so many safari shops. There's so many camping shops and all these sort of things. But did we have our specific area in this huge market? And my belief was that maybe not just yet, but the more quality professional hunters we get onto the program and start promoting the website and actually bringing some added benefits to the website, added goods, things that we never thought of before, things that I don't use that somebody else uses and it's working really well for them. So it's early days. We've got some cool things other than hunting, like the rings made out of buffalo horn, giraffe bone, buffalo bone, feather deer antler. The list just goes on and on and on. Warthog tusk, hippo tusk. And then we've got our handcrafted knives. But on there as well is a PH program. You go along, you subscribe. It is exactly like an affiliate marketer. And I think we're still in very early days, and I'm hoping this develops to bigger things, especially for my fellow PHs that need to fill those gaps when hunting season is not there. So, I don't want to waffle on too much, but I'm super proud of it. I'm super proud of what we've achieved in 2 weeks. It's so awesome. You guys can get some of my merch there, merchandise, and I'm hoping, this is just the start and it's just the base model. I'm hoping it grows from here, and I'm hoping I can report back to you guys in the next year and say we've done it. But it's a cool idea, and I think it will work. And guys, being a PH it's not for everybody, but there are a select few out there that are good guys and do it for the right reasons. And there's definitely a place in this market for good quality professional hunters that have got conservation hunting at heart and looking after our wonderful wildlife. So that's what this model is based around. So yeah, guys, if you haven't yet, head along to phtoolbox.co.za and just scratch around. There's a contact page on there if you've got any questions. hit me up on any one of my social media platforms. I would be happy to answer any questions that come our way. And like I said, obviously there is a financial gain in this thing, and no one's going to do it for nothing. And I do want it to be successful, but I'm also in the mindset that I need to look out for my fellow PHs and the guys out there that, there's a lot of guys out there that are really successful at what they do and have really hit the ground running, and maybe they don't need something like this, but there are guys out there that are passionate and driven by our wildlife and conservation that just don't have the means to fill those gaps. So this is a great platform to start off with. So I'm waffling along a little bit, but I'm super proud of it. And head along there, have a look. Let me know what you guys think, and maybe even hit me up with some advice going along. So big shout out to the guys at Insaka. I'm so stoked. I joined their course at the beginning of lockdown, and like I said, 2 weeks ago it was all over. My website was up and running. We had our first client, and now the ball's rolling. So big shout out to Warwick and the guys at Insaka. Super stoked with what I've achieved in such a short space of time. So guys, what brings me to our Sunday discussion is a message I got on Facebook, like I said. Unfortunately, I'm not going to share any names or anything like that. I don't think, firstly, I'm allowed to, and secondly, I don't think it will be fair on anyone. So the message goes as follows. Good day. I'd just like to start off by saying I love your content and the knowledge you have on your fine country and industry. It's rare that in today's modern age that we have such a true ambassador for the bush and the amazing wildlife. Firstly, thank you for those kind words. The reason for my message is that I'll be turning over a new chapter in my life, and I'll be turning 56 years old next year. I've been to Africa several times, and each one of them I've cherished and held very close to my heart. My son is ready to experience the dark continent, and I want to give him a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Our lives have become crazy in the modern-day technology, and I feel we haven't connected as much. I've seen the tourist attractions like Table Mountain, elephant parks, etc. What I haven't experienced is the rich culture and history your country carries. That's true. Goes on to say there's a whole bunch of other stuff. And then it says, would you be able to plan a 2-week trip into the unknown parts of South Africa? We'll be arriving in the April period, if this is a good time for you. I know the old saying goes, once you've been to Africa once, you won't stop going. I just don't know when my next time I just don't know when I will be back. I'm sure this is the start of many for my son. Thank you once again for all the great content, blah, 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 blah. Okay, cool. So let's get into it. I just want to start off by saying a very big thank you. It's a wonderful message, and I love getting messages so that I can, reply a little bit of knowledge and share a little bit of my experience. So a little bit of my knowledge of what I've got, especially in the Eastern Cape culture side of things and history, and then sharing some of my experiences with guys like us that would maybe they could relate to and share with their family. Cool. So, guys, it's a big thing that's been coming up as far as hunting is concerned. There's been a lot of guys that don't come out anymore just to kill animals. They want to come out and experience South Africa. They want to come out and experience, our culture, our history. Some of it may be dark, like apartheid, but some of it might be awesome, like the Bushman paintings, etc. But it's been an interesting thing for me to experience, because when I started PHing, it was all about the tape measure and it was all about the animals. I mean, at that stage, we were paying $8,000 for a sable, and a select few could come over and shoot one or two animals and extra out of their packages and stuff. Now the market's changed completely. You're paying now probably like $2,000 a sable, and you're shooting a lot more animals. So therefore, you're not only coming out for 7 days, you're coming out for 15 days, and the extra bit of days you just to share experiences and stuff. What I try and do when I'm PHing is, as we go along and hunt different species of animals, not on our outfitter's ranch, I try and incorporate as much of the culture and experience as possible. For instance, one of my favorite places to go in the Eastern Cape is Graaff-Reinet. I must try and get this right now. Kam de Boer National Park. It's this magnificent park, national park obviously, loads of wildlife, but once you get to the top of, you'll see once you get there, it overlooks this vast landscape, and it's a beautiful area. And I mean, you've got these massive dolomite towers, like natural skyscrapers. It's beautiful, it really is. But in the same breath, you can go there and you can hunt really nice fall rhubarc, really nice mountain rhubarc, and one of my personal favorite klipspringers. So a little story about Graaff-Reinet. Last year, I had a very good friend of mine. It would have been my third time hunting with him. We've come out and we've shared some incredible experiences, from hunting hippo down in the Fish River to skyscraping mountains for Ordad's Barbara sheep. But he came out, brought his whole family with, and we decided that we were going to do 3 of the most challenging hunts, literally in one day, and 800 kilometers apart. That's how wild the story is. So to put it into perspective, we started off at 5 o'clock in the morning. No, actually 4:30. We woke up 4:30. We met at the lodge, had a cup of coffee, packed our lunches, packed our breakfast, and we head out. Our first stop would have only been 320 k's later for foal rhubarc and klipspringer. So the foal rhubarc story goes is we saw a nice little herd, and we gave them a really good stalk. As you can imagine, you're hunting them on the top peaks of the mountains. The wind is pumping. It's chilly. And we get to, they built a little fences hut at the top of the mountain for the fences. And we get there and we start planning our next stalk. So we've closed the distance from 500 yards to maybe about 250. We're getting ready now to close another 100 yards before we're ready to actually take a shot. So we come up with this plan. Anyway, cut a long story short, we get there. We get in with 200-yard range, and we decide we're going to have a shot before they crawl over the edge of the mountain. And unfortunately, we miss. Head back to the pickup. Now, you got to understand, in the back of my mind, I kept planning certain time frames. So I gave ourselves a morning to hunt the foal rhubarc, an afternoon to hunt the gracebuck. Then we would have had to be on our way to get to the next place at about between 11 and 12 o'clock at night for the gracebuck, Cape gracebuck. So what happened is we're running short, and it's now afternoon. We've just had our packed lunch, and we see this herd of foal rhubarc again. Anyway, we get there, and probably about another 2 hours later, we put a magnificent stalk on them, downhill, and he pulls off an awesome shot. Drops the foal rhubarc. By the time we get it up, take a couple of photos, there's about 3 hours of daylight left. So we proceed on, and we get to where we spot a couple of klipspringer, and we put in a textbook stalk. Really, I was so confident that. I mean, guys, we're hunting high in the mountains. So we're probably about 15,000 feet above sea level. It really is high and magnificent views. Like I said, you're overlooking, the whole Graaff-Reinet region. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful there. Anyway, so we see these klipspringer, put in a textbook stalk, get behind one rock, we get comfortable, and we're about to take the shot, and next minute they just bolt. They were gone. They scattered everywhere, and I couldn't figure it out. We were downwind, the conditions were perfect, everything, and I look above and there's this massive black eagle. So, but an experience I'll never forget, because you're hunting, you're literally crouched up against the back of the rock, your back's up against it, the wind's blowing into your face, and this massive shadow comes soaring over you. The experience was next level. I mean, it will be very difficult for me to ever experience that sort of feeling again, witnessing one of these birds in full hunt mode. And so anyway, I take that close to my heart, and so we decide that, you know what, time's running out now. It's the sun's about to set. We still got to drive probably about another 2 hours down the mountain, get into town, get something to eat, and then head on our way again for another. I think it's about 500 kilometers. It felt longer, but just to get there at about 12 o'clock. So anyway, we do that. We get there. It's just ticked over 12:15. We pick up where we're meant to be going to hunt Grijsbach now. Cape Grijsbach we hunt at night with the spotlight. Anyway, it's getting late now. We've probably been hunting Greysies for about 3 hours, and we're almost about to call it a day. It's almost 4 o'clock in the morning. We're almost ready to pack it in. And this massive Cape Grijsbach, the biggest one I've ever taken, steps out just above the riverbed, and we knew we only had one shot, because if we missed, he was gone. He would have gone into the riverbed and we would have never seen him again, and that was it. One out of the 3 animals we would have shot. Anyway, places it straight on the shoulder, drops it with one shot, and the feeling that I got was next level. It was unbelievable. I've just pulled off the unthinkable. Almost 800 kilometers traveled, because we had to go all the way back another 4 hours now after this, because we planned accommodation a little bit late. And so my day started at 4:30. I eventually got into bed at 5:30 the next morning with a ginormous Vaalrooibuck and a massive Grijsbach. And the experience was next level. And yeah, again, just going back to the whole thing is, I try and incorporate these experiences into some of the unique places the Eastern Cape has to offer. So that for me was Graaff-Reinet in a nutshell. Like I said, you can go to the Kam de Boer National Park, where the Dolomite Towers are. The landscape is next level, but the hunting is also brilliant there. So in hindsight, I would have spent a day there and not been under pressure, but I will never look back and say, I wish, because the experiences I had that day were unbelievable, and I wouldn't change them for the world. So yeah, that's Graaff-Reinet. Next up, quite a weird one for me. There is a little bit of hunting in the area, but to me it's a a winter destination. We get snow here in South Africa, but not a hell of a lot. But in this area, especially in the Drakensberg, there's quite a lot of snow. So the next for me will be Rhodes. Just a quick history about Rhodes. Rhodes was a pivotal movement in the Boer War. The Boers invaded the area numerous amounts of times, and moral has it that they actually named Rhodes after Cecil John Rhodes, in hope that he would look favorable for his people. So he would look over them and hoping to send more troops there to protect them because of the Boers. They were just invading and capturing and taking all their supplies and stuff. So that's just a brief history. Some of the cool things about there's some really nice fall roebuck to hunt in the area, as well as it's not part of the Eastern Cape, but Lesotho is just over the border. And one of the cool things about Lesotho, you got the Sani Pass, and right at the top of the Sani Pass is the highest pub in Africa. That's one of the cool things in the Eastern Cape. And that area is specifically very well known for trout fishing and fly fishing. And I know this because a couple of my uncles were really passionate about it, and they loved the area. So if you do come over to South Africa and you want to do that and you want to experience a little bit something different, I've actually got a couple of spots booked up in the area, some awesome trout fishing. I've just started getting into fly fishing a little bit, learning here and there, but I would like to get into it quite seriously. Fantastic spot, and especially in the winter months when it's snowing, it is beautiful for the family to go around to. And if you've got a couple of extra days, pop up to Sani at the top of Lesotho. It's really something to cherish, and magnificent. Then guys, this list can go on forever, but I'm going to mention one more. It's very close to my heart for obvious reasons, and that's the Transkei, the Wild Coast. And I'm not talking about Hole in the Wall, which is extremely popular destinations, or Coffee Bay and that sort of stuff. I'm talking more about the real Transkei Wild Coast. It's very close to my heart. My dad grew up there in the Transkei. During the apartheid era, Transkei was a complete separate country to the rest. And his parents had trading stations. My grandfather and them had trading stations there. So basically trading stations were essential shops where people could go and cash in their pensions, buy basic goods. They could even buy livestock. It was pretty much the connection between the urban community and the Transkei rural side of things. So, the president at that stage, or the leader of the Transkei, was Matanzima. Some really rich history in that area, and it's pretty cool. Look, a lot of it's going to be dark as far as apartheid's concerned, but a lot of it is pretty cool. There's some really amazing people there. The craftsmanship is unbelievable with beadwork and a lot of the other things they do. There's some Nkomboti, so it's a beer they make out of yeast and stuff. And it's unbelievable fishing. It's really rural. You stay in cottages. It's amazing. The beaches are magnificent. Some really, really, like I said, good fishing. So, I wanted to end off. You see in my posts, over the past couple of days, I posted some of the traditional stuff that plants were used for back in the day. And with all what's going on in the world, with racial tensions being as high as ever, my dad always used to say to me, when apartheid will always be looked at as an excuse for modern day transformation. And I was too young to understand, but the more I'm growing and the more I'm learning about our past and learning about how to handle the future, the way we're meant to be moving forward, and especially South Africans, is we need to start embracing one another's cultures. We don't have to live by them, but helping yourself to understand them, it will go a long way. South Africans and Africans especially, we've got some incredible cultures. We've got some incredible human beings. We need to embrace them, and we need to live with one another, and we need to understand one another's cultures. We be too lazy, and we keep looking for excuses too quickly. It's because of apartheid. It's because I'm white. It's because I'm black. It's because of all these racial things. Stop looking for excuses and try and understand one another's point of view. And I've been very silent with a lot of the movements out there, like Black Lives Matter, farm murders, which is a big one for me. But at the end of the day, we're all human beings, and we all can't expect to be the same. We've all got to learn to live with one another, because unfortunately or fortunately, whichever way you want to see it, we need one another more than we think. And it's the arrogance of individuals that don't believe in that. And for me, the sooner we learn to live with one another, the sooner we learn to appreciate one another, and the sooner we learn to understand one another's cultures, the better it's going to be for all of us. Now, I'm not condemning any actions that have been going on, any riots, any farm murders, any of that sort of stuff. I'm just saying, the less we want to learn, the more we're going to hurt one another. And the more we want to learn, the better it's going to be for us in the future. So yeah, guys, I don't want to be negative or anything like that. I've had a good conversation with you guys, a good, nice little discussion, Sunday discussion. I love it. I love getting my point of view out there. I love voicing my opinion. Although I might be just talking absolute shit, I really dig it. We've just got we've got a beautiful country. We've really got special people in it, and it's amazing to be a part of. I just wish that things would turn for the better, and I'm hoping they do. We've always got to be positive, and I'm extremely positive about the future. And we're looking ahead. Big thumbs up again to everyone that supported me. I really appreciate it, guys. I can't tell you how grateful I am. I mean, to get to 2,000 followers, I know it's not a big deal to some of you, but to me, it means a lot, And so if you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe, please. Every little bit helps. Guys, so that's it for Sunday discussion. You can hit me up on any one of my platforms, any one of my social media platforms, and now even on PH Toolbox. My contact details are all there. I'm so stoked to looking forward. I'm hoping to have a couple of guests. I've got a few guys lined up, but like I said, with the Wi-Fi connections and stuff in South Africa being a little bit iffy, and especially with load shedding, we get disrupted. So I want something clean and going forward. So yeah, hopefully in the next couple of weeks we'll have somebody on here. But until then, big thumbs up to Number Boom, by the way. Huge step forward, and the tourist industry needs it. So big thumbs up. So yeah, guys, from myself, my PH Toolbox team, and my PH Journals team, thank you so much for joining me on the Sunday discussion. Stay safe, be humble, and don't forget, learn about one another's cultures and differences. But until next Sunday, stay safe, stay humble, and we'll see you guys. Cheers.